Beautiful day. Sun shining, not a cloud in sight. The only downside, checked the temperature when I left the house, and it was only 30 degrees. So it's a little bit chilly. But today, I had a little bit of free time, decided I wanted to change the oil in Elsa. Gotta get her out and run her a little bit, get her up to operating temperature. So I thought, yeah, let's brave it. See how it goes. I prefer to ride when it's up in that like 40 degree range, but it is what it is today, and I wanted to get out and ride. My face is getting cold. Rough road, gravel, train tracks, a little bit of everything. Yeah, my fingertips are going to feel it by the time I get home. The rest of me is actually fine. But the only heated gear that I think that I would like is gloves. If I ride long enough, my feet get cold because, well, the leather gets cold on the boots and it just transfers through. The thicker the socks you put on, well, then the tighter the boot is, and the tighter the boot is, then the colder it winds up getting. I suppose I could put on my hunting and hiking boots. They're at least insulated. That might be the wise thing to do, Russ. Put on your hiking boots or hunting boots when you're going out like this. So some of the roads around town are fun. You can just pop out. It's all brown right now because it's winter time. But you can actually just pop right out of town. It's a non-motorized boat ramp for the Sun River. Canoes, kayaks, rowboats, stuff like that. Pop them in there. Motorized boat ramps down in town. Here in about 3 more months, we'll get some green leaves on stuff. And it'll look a little different. There are times when I think, why in the world do you live where you got to bundle up to ride, or when the sun's out and it's 30 degrees, you want to take a ride? You can't ride all year round. And then you see things like that view over to the Highwood Mountains. Or when I first came out, the view back to the west of the Rockies, and they're all snow covered right now. Absolutely gorgeous. Every state has its beauty. And granted, I've only lived in 4 different states. This is the one that I love the most. The other places that I've lived, there's so many people now. They've grown up so much, but for the reasons that I just mentioned here a little bit ago, you know, the cold, rough roads, fogging up of visors. There's not a caravan of people trying to move to central Montana, which is perfectly fine. Really, they try to move, or they do move, to the west end of the state. Get over in the mountains. Like Bitterroot Valley, Flathead Valley, or down by Bozeman. If I remember from the last economic summit I was at for the state, Bozeman, or Gallatin County, was the fastest growing county in the state. I think it was followed up by Missoula County. Cascade County, not growing quite like that. There's a lot of different opinions of how this county should grow. There's folks that say, hey, we need jobs and you got to get the industries you really don't want to help bring in the ones you do want. And we got the people that say, nope, we're going to hold out for the best, the highest paying jobs. Which essentially keeps us small. Look at a deer. Look at its butt. Well, actually, it can't get its head all the way around. Probably can get his tongue there. I don't know, I've never really paid that much attention to a deer licking its butt. Like I said, just not piles of people trying to move here. Go to that west end of the state. Well, let them stay over there. Oh, I hate this bump. Forgot about it. Ugh. We'll say that since I've been riding more, I found more just little oddball roads around because they explore more. We first moved to this area, gosh, 20 years ago. We did a lot of driving around, exploring. But a lot of it was actually up in the little belts and highwoods. So we were excited. We were coming from the prairie. It's like, woo, there's those mountain thingies. We've heard of those. So we explored a lot in the mountains. Got to know the Forest Service roads pretty well. I can find my way around up there really good. But didn't ever do a whole lot of exploring right here around town. Waiter on the red light. I get distracted. I think it's something I want to talk about. Then I get focused on the road and the traffic and the people around me, and I stop talking. Like, woo, that'll make for a real interesting video. Make sure I'm in first gear. It's like one of the super embarrassing things is being on a hill, going to start off, killing your bike and realizing you're not in first gear. It had nothing to do with your brake clutch coordination. It's just I wasn't in first gear. But I think we all do it. I know, I thought it was funny. I killed Elsa at a stop sign here a few weeks back. Probably the last time I rode her. So, one thing I've learned about Elsa, that quick stop, if I wouldn't have been on the front brake just about equal, she would have skidded. And I'd have went right through that signal. I've had one person tell me it's because her back tire is hard rubber, which I'll agree with. She rides a little rough. I mean, she squishes like a caddy. You know how they just kind of old caddies and old big old luxury cars, how they would bounce. She seems to kind of do that over some bumps. But little things, she's hard on. And stopping, holy smokes. She will skid just with medium pressure on that rear brake. So I always got to make sure I get in that front brake just as much. I do appreciate the dual calipers on the front. Because you know how when you only have one caliper, and you peg that front brake, a little too hard, it whips that front tire out from under you and you tip the bike over. Well, it seems to me, I don't know if it's right or not, but it seems to me that the dual calipers don't do that, or at least don't do that as badly. So if anybody that watches this has an opinion about a hardback tire, leave me a comment, send me a message, do something, would you? Either way, I'm going to wind up changing it in the spring. Right here, what you're looking at is the backside of Malmstrom Air Force Base. Their little coal-fired power plant for the base, housing, some of the barracks. Can't quite see the, well, I know where the clinic's at because I can see the commissary, or the PX. And then the Highwood Mountains out there in the background.